Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I hope you're all doing well, and although I miss seeing you, I am so grateful that I have the opportunity to teach this way and share a yoga class with you that you can watch as many times as needed. I know this is something really close to my heart that I think everyone needs right now, is a practice that isn't going to be too hard, but it's going to be something that relaxes you, recenters you, and helps to replace some feelings of fear with love. Because the one way to truly release fear is to replace it with feelings of love. And that's what yoga is about. Yoga is about finding a union within yourself, between your mind, body, and spirit all together, and then feeling calm again. So I hope you enjoy this practice. Those of you that normally take my classes, you will recognize the sequencing and some of these familiar moves. But for anyone brand new joining us, I'm really excited that you have the opportunity to join me as well. I will be showing modifications for anyone with any knee issues, hip issues. Mostly I want you to feel good. So this class is not about pushing yourself into a certain position to look a certain way. It is about doing what's best for your body and respecting that today. So to get started, we are actually going to start in a seated pose. So what I've done is I've used a little pillow. You can use a couch cushion. You can roll up a pillow or a blanket at home, and just lift your hips up a little bit so that our hips are slightly tipped forward. This helps to just keep our lower backs nice and straight and neutral. So maybe before we even start, put your hands on your lower back, fingertips down, and just feel that there's a little bit of a curve there, tipped forward, that the chest is lifted, and that our shoulders can come down and relax. So we're going to start with our eyes closed. In the first few minutes of class today, we're going to use some breathing techniques to recenter and to help release some negative energy, some negative thoughts that may just be floating around in our heads and then in our muscles, in our body. So check in with your body right now. If you're feeling anything, any tenseness in the shoulders or the neck or the face, with the eyes closed, move your head around. Roll your head a couple times. Keeping the eyes closed until I guide you to open them. Let's bring the hands to heart center, right in front of the heart, the palms together. In this pose, let's honor exactly how we feel right now. There's nothing that we can change in this moment. It is what it is. And let's take a deep breath in and accept where we are right now, how our body feels. Start to drop the chin down towards the chest and stretch the back of the neck. Just a gentle little pull. Slowly breathe in, lifting the chin back up. Release the hands down to the thighs and just rest them there. And we're going to focus on our face, the forehead, the eyes, the mouth. We hold a lot of tension in this area, so let's squeeze the eyes and then relax them. Squeeze the face and relax it. Almost like that feeling when you're about to fall asleep and your face releases, your jaw relaxes, the tongue relaxes. Allow that feeling to move down the neck into the shoulders. Notice how the shoulders are just floating in place. You don't need to press them down. You don't need to pull them back. Just let them rest exactly where they are. Now focusing on the breath, each inhale is going to lengthen our back just a little more. It's tiny little movements, but each inhale starts to make us a little taller, a little longer, a little more lifted up towards the ceiling. The spine lengthens from the base of the spine all the way up to the crown of the head. It's amazing how you can keep lifting even farther with each breath. And once you get to a point where you feel like you are tall and strong, allow the exhales to release anything that's just built up. I know it seems a little silly, but at this point, since you're home, you can make some forceful breath. You can take a deep breath in, and just let it out. Let out those negative feelings. Let out anything that's holding you back right now. There's no need for it here. One more deep breath in. Exhale it out. And then let the left ear drop towards the left shoulder. Feel the weight of the head, all of it towards the shoulder. If you want a little extra stretch, take that left hand to the top of the head. Bring the right hand down towards the floor. And think about creating length and space from the top of the head down to that right arm. Lengthen and release. For a deep breath in and exhale. Inhale and lift the head. We're going to reverse that movement, dropping the right ear towards the right shoulder. You may have one side that's a little tighter than the other. And during this class, we don't want to react to those feelings. We just let them be. So here again, take your right hand to the top of the head, the left hand out, down towards the floor, and create space between the ear and shoulder. A few deep breaths to release. Notice the sensations in the muscles. Feel them lengthen. And take a deep breath in and lift the head. Releasing the hands back to the thighs. We're going to roll the shoulders a few times in big circles. Big, releasing circles up towards the ears, back and down. As much movement as you possibly can. You might feel chills run through your body if you're not used to this much movement, if your muscles have been locked down for a while. I know this is a place to really carry stress. But this is what our body needs. Start releasing. And when you're ready, roll forward, reversing the shoulder roll. Let the chin drop down. Separate the shoulder blades. Just enjoy these feelings. If at any time during the next 30 minutes or so, something feels good, smile and appreciate it. So now take the left arm, reach it up towards the ceiling. Reach it up as high as possible. Here's where you can start opening your eyes, looking up towards your left hand. Reach it slightly over the head to get a little lateral movement, opening the side body. And on an exhale, comfortably let that left arm float down. Inhale, reaching the right arm up. Look at the hand if that's comfortable for the neck. And again, reach slightly over, keeping the hips down. When you're ready, exhale and bring that right arm back down. Now, one small rotation before we move to another pose. We're going to take both hands to the right thigh. There's a couple places you can stop if they feel good. So even just right here is a small rotation in the upper back. You can start to turn your head to look over the right arm, over the right shoulder, If you start to feel anything in your neck, you might want to stop about right there. Test these muscles and look down towards your armpit. Then lift back up and turn up towards the ceiling, kind of dropping your right ear down, lifting up. On an inhale, straighten the back. Exhale and slowly return to center, bringing both hands to the left thigh. Again, stopping wherever you're comfortable. You can start to turn the head to look over the shoulder. And maybe just breathe right here, or you can drop the chin. And also slowly tip the head up towards the ceiling, dropping the left ear. Lots of little muscles here in the neck that need to release. So use the breath, use your exhales, and slowly return to center. Great. Now we're ready to begin. So we are going to either rock forward or bring your feet around to the side. And we're going to go onto our backs to start. So you can move your pillow to the side. Slowly take your time and round your back to the floor. Keep the knees bent, the feet flat on the floor, and spread the toes. Feet about hip width apart. Check in with the shoulders and flatten them against the ground. Maybe lift the tailbone up and down a little bit to roll the lower back into the mat. Push the fingertips towards the heels, just to keep the shoulders away from the ears. And you can close your eyes through this entire neck segment here. On an inhale, slowly lift the hips and lift up into a bridge. You don't have to push as high as possible. Let's stay here for a moment and then exhale, bringing the hips down. And we're going to start connecting to our breath. Our movement connects to each inhale and exhale. So on each inhale, lift the hips. And on each exhale, lower them down. So continue moving with your breath at your own pace. Everyone moves a little differently. Notice how the chest opens as you lift. We're engaging the glutes, the backs of the legs. Now on the next one, we're going to lift up and we're going to hold. So up as high as you can, as high as comfortable. Then draw the shoulder blades down the back. Press the arms into the mat. And use the arm muscles to support the body. So if we focus on our spine is actually not touching the ground. We're using our arms to lift so the backs of our heads touch, and then nothing else. Just the very backs of the shoulders, the triceps, the back of the arms. Take a deep breath in, open, and slowly lower down. Hug the knees into the chest, wrapping the arms around your legs. And then flex and point your feet a little bit, working our ankles. You can even separate your feet a little and roll them around. Scrunch your toes and spread the toes. Get as much movement as you can here. And then bring the feet to the ground. We're going to slowly roll to one side. It doesn't matter which side you roll to, but roll onto that side and shoulder. Then use the top arm to press up off the floor. And we're going to go right into a kneeling, or hands and knees position. So the hands are directly underneath our shoulders. The knees are directly underneath our hips. Feet straight back. Spread the fingers. Draw the belly button in a little bit. And we're going to start rocking a little bit forward and back, just to work our wrist mobility at the same time. Leaning forward, leaning back, turning the fingertips in towards each other. Let's continue rocking a little bit just to open some more space in the wrists. And if you're feeling this one today, you can turn your fingertips out or all the way backwards, whichever one you want to try today. Continuing a little bit more of a rock movement. Stretching the forearms. And come back to center. Fingertips forward. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale and arch the back into a cat pose. Lift the middle of the back. Tuck the chin, round the spine, and again feel that stretch between the shoulder blades. You can even add a little forward and backward movement. And slowly start to sway the back the other direction. Lift the chin, lift the forehead, drop the shoulders down, and lift the tailbone. Take a nice deep breath in. Release some more tension in the face. And then come to a neutral spine, slightly tucking the chin. Take a nice deep breath in and center. Next, we're going to tuck the toes under. We're going to lift our knees up a little bit, and then we're going to lift our hips into our first easy downward dog. So we're going to slowly fold at the hips, lifting the tailbone up. The knees can stay as bent as needed. It's much more important to keep the spine straight. So once we're in a comfortable spot, just breathe. Allow that air to move down into the lower back. Allow the neck to relax. Maybe even do a couple yes, no movements with the head. Keep it relaxed. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale and bring the knees back down to the floor. Untuck the toes. And we're going to go into a child's pose, which you can keep your hips up if it bothers your knees to flex any more than this. Otherwise, you can sink all the way back onto your heels. The forehead comes down to the ground. Arms relax. And before we start our sun salutations, this is the time to think about something you're grateful for, absolutely anything, to set the intention for the class. Maybe why you're here, what brought you to this video. It could be absolutely anything. Maybe you're just seeking peace. Take a deep breath in and lift the forehead. Come back to the hands and knees. Tuck the toes under. Lift the knees, and we're going to walk our hands back towards our feet. Stay folded over here for a moment. You can keep the knees slightly bent. Tuck the chin a little bit and walk the hands over towards the outside of the left foot. And slowly walk the hands over towards the outside of the right foot. Come back to center, and we're going to slowly walk our hands up, but we're going to stop where they're right above the knees. When we get there, we're going to draw the shoulder blades down the back. We're going to start to look forward towards the front edge of the mat, drawing the elbows in towards the sides. You can stay right here if this is comfortable, or you can go into an airplane pose where you press the arms into the sides, the palms are turned up, shoulder blades drawn in towards the spine. We're activating all the muscles down the back, everything all the way down the spine to the lower back. Stay lifted and strong and confident. Take a deep breath in. Then bring the hands back to the thighs, walk them back up the legs, and we're going to go into our mountain pose first. Now I'm going to be doing some of the sun salutations facing forward and also some of them from the side. I also want you to pick whichever one feels best for you today. In fact, you can even stay in some poses longer than others and just hold what feels best. So in mountain pose, arms at the sides, palms forward, fingertips down. Spread the toes, ground your lower body into the earth. Lift the arches of the feet, lift the knees, lift the inner thighs. Lift all the way up through the spine. The chin slightly lifts, shoulder blades drop down. On a deep breath in, reach the arms up over the head. Exhale and swan dive forward, which means hinging at the hips, arms go out and down with a little bend in the knees, and then step back into a plank pose. In plank pose, the shoulders are right over the hands, fingers spread wide. Core is strong with the hips lifted up. Couple options here. You can bring your knees down first, or you can lower all the way down to the ground. Untuck the toes. Slowly lift into a little baby cobra. We're not lifting very high right now, just a little bit of a press off the ground, shoulder blades tucked in. Lift the chin, and then come down. Press back up to the hands and knees. Sink right back into a child's pose, whichever modification you need. Forehead down to the ground. Arms extended. Then inhale and lift back up to hands and knees. Tuck the toes under, and we're going to exhale right into our downward dog. Fold over, lengthen the spine, spread the fingers, relax the neck. You can even pedal your feet a little bit, bend one knee at a time and press the heel down. And then a couple options to step forward. You can take a big step up between your hands, or you can also walk your hands back towards your feet, bringing both feet together. Slowly stand, the soft bend in the knees, and then return back to the front of the mat. So next we're going to move through that at full speed, full speed ahead. Take a nice deep breath in, reach to the ceiling, exhale and fold over. Step back into your plank pose. On an exhale, lower down to the ground. Untuck the toes, inhale into your cobra as high as you feel comfortable. Exhale back down. Inhale up to hands and knees. Exhale back into child's pose. Inhale up to hands and knees. Toes tuck under. Exhale to downward dog. Inhale to step forward or to start walking your hands back. Slight bend in the knees. Sweep the arms all the way back up. And one more time, folding over. You don't have to stay with me. If you want to go at your own pace, you can. Move with your own breath. We want to start just releasing the tension that forms when we're trying to force our breath. Instead, we want to give in to the pace that's natural for us. Not comparing ourselves to other people or to how we think it should look. Slowly returning to center. In mountain pose. So for the next one, we're going to do two more. I'm going to offer just a little bit of a modification here, and also something to open the hips a little more. Same start as before. Inhale and sweep the arms up. Exhale and swan dive. Step back into plank pose. From here, go right up into a downward dog. Lift the right leg up, bend the knee, open the hip to the side. And take that right foot, bring it all the way back up between the hands. Lift the chest, reach to the ceiling. And come come all the way back down. Step the right foot back, lower the knees, untuck the toes, sink into child's pose. Inhale back up, tuck the toes under, lift the knees, and walk the hands back. Slightly bend the knees to lift to the ceiling, and exhale down to mountain pose. Step forward, and we'll do that one more time on the other side. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, folding over. Step the feet back. Go right up into a downward dog. This time lift the left leg, bend the knee slightly, open the hip to the side. Then take that left foot, step it all the way through between the hands. Slowly lift the chest, sweep to the ceiling, and come back down. Step the left foot back, lower the knees down, sink into child's pose. Inhale, up to hands and knees. Toes tuck under, lift the knees, and walk the hands back. And slightly bend the knees, sweep up to the ceiling, and return to your mountain pose. Take this moment to feel the warmth in your body. If your heart rate's a little higher, invite that feeling. Then step towards the front of your mat. I'm going to go through a couple warrior poses now. First, just recenter. Feel your body weight on the ground. Spread the toes again. Relax the face. And take a step back with the right foot. Press that heel down into the ground, turning your right foot out just a little bit to the side, but the hips face forward towards the front edge of the mat. Sweep the arms all the way up to the ceiling, spread the fingers, and look up between the hands. If that bothers your neck, you can also look straight forward, whatever feels best. Focus on lifting from the hips through the spine. Activate the arm muscles, keep them strong. Spread the fingers. And on an exhale, open the arms out and down. Place the fingers behind the back. Open the chest, straightening the arms, drawing the shoulder blades towards the spine. We're doing a lot of heart-opening, confident poses. Poses that invite love and get rid of fear. Deep breath in. On an exhale, hinge forward. Wherever you want to stop, maybe parallel to the ground, just breathe. Feel your breath. Feel the temperature of the air. On an inhale, lift the chest, release the hands, maybe roll the wrists a little bit, and then step together. Repeating with our other side, step the left foot back, again turning the toes out slightly, hips turned forward towards the front edge of your mat, and then sweep the arms to the ceiling. Spread the fingers, smile, lift, reach. On an exhale, open the arms. Stretch them slowly out and down, lacing the fingers behind the back. Open the chest for a few breaths. Feel how those inhales just help expand the rib cage, help to release any tension. Deep breath in. Exhale and hinge. Bring that chest down a little bit, shoulder blades back. Just enjoy that stretch. This is what your body needs. It needs to move every joint, needs to stretch and release. On an inhale, lift the shoulders, release the hands, and again, roll the wrists a little bit, release them from that position, and step together. Now I'm going to show Warrior Two from the side, but you can stay right where you are. I'm going to take a nice deep breath in, and step your right foot back. Press your heel down into the ground, and turn your right foot out towards the long edge of your mat. I'm going to actually switch. So feet are perpendicular. Your left heel lines up with the arch of your right foot. And then our shoulders lined up over our hips. We're going to sink slightly into our front knee. Go ahead and just look at that knee and get it to line right up over your ankle here. The chest is going to turn out towards the long side of the mat here, and then extend the arms straight out from the shoulders. Everything is extended. One of the hardest things about Warrior Two is that it's an active pose, so we're going to actively press our left knee out towards our pinky toe. We're going to actively squeeze our glutes, and we're going to keep our arms strong. Turning just the head to look over the left arm. Soften your gaze. So without really focusing on anything, look beyond your fingers. Press them forward, push them back. Warrior Two is about being confident in the present moment. The left arm is reaching into the future. The right arm is pressing back into the past. But we are centered right where we are. It is a time to clear your mind. And if that's hard for you to do, take a few breaths and repeat something in your mind to help keep your thoughts clear. Repeat the words confidence, or love, or peace. Slowly bring the right hand down towards the right leg, the left arm up towards the ceiling, into our reverse warrior, looking up, relaxing the right shoulder, taking a deep breath. And then slowly release. Relax your arms for just a moment. From here, we're going to go into our side angle, and then we'll finish down on the floor again. So we're going to take our left forearm and sink down onto our left thigh. From here, again, let's make sure our knee is lined up over our ankle here on the left. Our left forearm very lightly rests on that left thigh. I know it's tempting to sink into it, but we want to stay really lifted so that our core is working strong. Inhale and reach the right arm to the ceiling, and then slightly over the head. Look up towards that right hand. Feel yourself grounded into your mat. Strong legs, strong core. Take a nice deep breath in and lift, and then bring the right arm down. And then just walking the right foot forward, heel to toe, stepping back up to center. We're going to go back into our mountain pose and reverse with our other side. Take a nice deep breath in and sweep the arms up. Exhale, reaching them down. Stepping the left foot back. Turning our left foot out, perpendicular to the other heel. Turning towards that long side of the mat again. Hips turned out. Sink into the right knee until it's lined up over the ankle. We can always make small little adjustments. Shoulders turned out, arms extended. Take a moment to feel that balance, even if you have to close your eyes. Feel that center of balance. Then turn just the head to look over the right arm, past the fingers. Try not to focus. Extend the arms with strength, but also allow them to relax in a certain way. It makes them feel like they're floating there. Focus on a peaceful mind. connection in your body. Feel the muscles that move as you breathe. And slowly lower the left arm down to the left thigh. Right arm lifts to the ceiling. Relax the left shoulder and lift the right arm. Looking up towards your hand, past your hand towards the ceiling. Take a few deep breaths. On an exhale, release your arms just for a moment and then start hinging towards your right leg. Bring the right forearm down towards your thigh. Remember to not put much weight on that arm. And then lift the left arm to the ceiling, reaching it up, opening the shoulders. Strong legs. Nice deep breath. And then slowly bring that left arm down, lift the chest, and we're gonna walk our left foot forward from heel to toe. Coming back to center. Take a nice deep breath in, sweep the arms up, bring the palms together, and bring them to heart center. Take a little step back towards the center of your mat, feet about hip width apart. Then we're gonna exhale and sink into our chair pose. So with the chest lifted, hips behind the knees. Let's check our balance a little bit. Roll on your feet. Lift your toes. Wiggle your toes. We don't actually need them for balance here. Then lift your heels. Check that balance as well. Bring the heels down. Chest and sternum up. We're going to flow through a couple movements here. So on the inhales, let's lift all the way up. Reaching to the ceiling, opening the arms, sweeping them back down into chair. So that's our breath. Inhale up, exhale down. Let's take 3 more breaths. Go at your own paces. Exhale out and down. And then we're going to hold here. So stay in your chair pose. Drop down where you're comfortable. Take your left hand to the outside of your right knee, the right hand to the lower back, and start to look at the right shoulder. Adding a little bit of rotation. Inhale, come back to center. Then take the right hand to the left knee, left hand behind the back, and look at the shoulder, the left shoulder. On an inhale, come back to center. Press the hands together, reach up to the ceiling, and open. Relax. Take a step towards the front of the mat, and we're going to slowly come down. So draw the hands down the legs. Slowly fold over. Relax the neck, relax the lower back. Bring the hands to the floor and step the feet back. We are in our plank pose again. Let's take 3 deep breaths, spreading the fingers, rocking a little bit on the toes to stretch the bottoms of the feet. And bring the knees to the ground. Untuck the toes and sink slightly backwards. You can also keep your hips up here. Bring the left hand to the outside edge of the mat, and then stack the right hand on top of it. Hold here for a couple breaths. Just feeling that stretch down the right side. And bring the right hand to the outside of the mat. Stack the left hand on top. And again, breathe into that left side. Come back to center. Slowly lift the forehead. And we're going to bring our knees around to the side and sit on our hips. Bringing your legs in front of you. Here, if you'd like to elevate your hips again, you can. But we won't be on our hips very long. So just as an option, you can take your blanket again. Just to keep that spine nice and straight. Toes pulled up, hands resting on the thighs. Take a nice deep breath in. And slowly bring the bottoms of the feet together. Wrap your hands around the ankles. Lift the chest so the spine is long. And slightly tip the hips forward. If you need a deeper stretch, you can hinge a little bit at your hips. Just try to keep the spine long and straight. Inhale, lift the chest, straighten the legs. And then lift your hips off of the pillow if you were using it. Set that pillow down to the side. And we're going to slowly round the back to the floor. So take your time coming down, however you need to do that. Press your hands on top of your stomach. And for a few minutes here, we're going to focus back on our breathing. Recentering. Our breath moves into our chest and then our stomach, almost like a wave. It lifts one then the other and then comes back down. If it helps, visualize a wave. Visualize the ocean. Bring your mind to a place of peace. Our bodies follow what our minds tell them. So wherever you need to be right now, bring as much detail into that vision as possible. The temperature, the feeling of the wind or the air on your skin, the sounds. Maybe there are birds. Let the sun come out and feel it on your face. Imagine that you are alone, that you are at peace, and you have everything you need. Now imagine looking out across the water, all the way to the horizon. As far as you can see, it is calm. There is space. If you feel more comfortable straightening your legs, you can bring those down to the ground. And here we're going to stretch our arms out from our sides with our palms turned up. Inch the shoulder blades down the back a little bit. Slightly lift the chin. And then deeply breathe. It only takes about 10 deep breaths to lower the stress in our bodies. Lowering the stress helps us think more clearly. Helps our body to function better. give yourself those 10 breaths. There's no rush, no place you have to be. Feel the cool air move into the nose and that warm air release. On your last few breaths, each inhale, we're going to squeeze our hands. Exhale and release them. A couple more. And slowly bring the hands back in towards the body. Bend the knees. Bring the feet to the floor. And slowly roll to one side. Use your top arm to press up off the ground and slowly come back up to your seated position. Keeping your eyes closed, let's sit up as tall as possible with our hands at heart center. Just remember we're all in this together and no one is alone, even though it may feel like it sometimes. We're always here for you. You always have a place to go, right here on your mat. Take a nice deep breath in. Smile and open your eyes. And thank you for joining us today. Namaste.